Well, welcome to In 3, Patrick J. Adams.
Thank you for having me. It's
Thank
a
you
pleasure.
for being here.
Hi.
Welcome back to Toronto. Welcome home.
We're home.
Your stomping grounds.
So happy to be here.
I guess it's a city that shaped you and also, like, probably changed your life in a lot of ways.
Oh my God, it changed everything about my life.
Yeah.
I can never be here and not remember being young and just walking around the way you do, the city, and just like, I've wanted to be an actor since I was a kid and had no idea how to do it.
Right.
So to now be, in my 40s and here and having shot a television show here already, and now, when you finish a really hit show, there's a part of you that's like, was that it? Is that the whole career? Did it just happen? Is that the thing that's like on your tombstone? So to now have the opportunity to come and talk about this other thing, which I'm so proud of, is amazing.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the show. So Taylor Sheridan obviously is well known and beloved for the shows that he's created already. When you got the call to work with him, what was that like?
Surreal. Well, I got the call to audition for him, and that was surreal.
Right.
Yeah.
But I didn't have a script at that point. It was just some sides. It was like, here's a couple of scenes that you could tape it. But that was surreal already. It was like, hey, by the way, Taylor's making a show with Michelle Pfeiffer. Do you want to read the scenes? It's like, yeah, I want to read the scenes.
I do, yes, please.
But I've auditioned for Taylor shows before, and I've never been sure if I'm like a good fit. And so I sort of made the tape and just sent it off. Maybe I was just protecting my own ego, but I was just like, whatever, we'll just... Probably won't get it. Thanks for the opportunity.
Right.
And then very quickly got a call like, no, he wants to see you in Wyoming, which is sort of where he does his screen tests.
Right.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go. And I was like, we have a place up in Georgian Bay here in northern Toronto, and we had just sort of bought/inherited it we bought it from my mother after my stepdad sadly passed away, and we took it over. There's a lot of parallels between my life and what was happening on the show, but we were there and my whole family was there, and it was not a place I could leave them.
Right.
And in order to go to Wyoming, it would have been like a massive, we would have had to relocate my whole family for the few days that I went away. So I had to be like, look, I love this. I would love to come meet you. I cannot be there. My family and I are in a cabin in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a wild parallel.
Yeah,
Weird.
and luckily I think maybe there was some part of that resonated or that he understood, because they were like, okay, you could make another tape from a distance, and so they let me make this follow-up tape with some new scenes, and then a couple of days later I got the word that I got the job.
I almost feel like making that call to not go says a lot about your character, and maybe
I'm hoping that's
what
that's the story I was
does.
telling myself. I've never connected with Taylor
so
about it, but yeah, it was a weird thing, because I'm not usually that. I'm Canadian to a fault.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah,
what can I
like,
do? How can I help? I'll do whatever you want.
So sorry.
But in that moment, it felt like I was like, I can't. I want this job. I'd love to do this. This sounds amazing. I can't do that. And it felt actually, good to be able to say that and feel confident with the work I was sending in with the tape. And I mean, maybe we'd be telling a very different story if somebody else was sitting in this chair right now, and I was not. But I'm glad it worked out.
How did you celebrate? Jump in Georgian Bay?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll do that anyway.
Exactly.
I mean, I did the same thing I do with any job, which was celebrate for about 3 seconds and then suddenly go into a
back
panic.
Yeah.
The panic of, now I have to do this.
Yeah, now we actually have to go and work with Michelle Pfeiffer and hope that you stand up to that.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about that because you mentioned always wanting to be an actor. Could little Patrick Adams have imagined working with Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell?
Big Patrick Adams can't imagine it. No, it was... I still have the feeling... Michelle is like a dear friend now, and I still, when I get around her, I have to go stop.
Be cool.
It's your friend. She's your friend. He never could have imagined it. He wanted it. He had big dreams, little Patrick, but no, I'm definitely way beyond what I ever would have imagined for myself.
She is, you all are, but she is really spectacular in this show.
Unbelievable.
She is.
Now I am off book on Michelle Pfeiffer performances now, because I made the mistake of watching everything that she ever did again while we were working together.
Sure.
And I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say this is right up there with the best that she's ever been.
I would agree.
Unbelievable.
It's really compelling.
Yeah.
Well, you've obviously played a big city lawyer, and now you're playing sort of a big city guy who has to make it work in the country.
Yeah.
How do those two experiences compare, filming in the city and then now filming in this beautiful countryside?
I think shooting Suits, Suits was such a dream job, but in terms of our location, it was a warehouse in Downsview, Ontario for 6 years. It's a very glamorous show, and we're in a building, and it looks like we're in New York. For the most part, we're in a warehouse up in Downsview, and so if anything, it just gives me a lot of gratitude, because for this, we would drive out into the middle of absolute paradise and watch the sun come up over the Madison River and the steam rising from the river and elk going by and eagles flying. And we'd, spend the day down on this giant piece of property, and then the sun would start to set, and you'd see the sky light up, and it was like,
oh my God,
that was every day of work.
Wow.
For 3 months.
What
and
a dream.
So, and that's not without its own problems. Then the wind kicks up, or
Of course.
I'm an actor, so you always find
Not
something
the
to
wind.
complain about.
Right.
But when that is your set rather than the inside of a Downsview warehouse, it made me just deeply, deeply, deeply grateful. And these are rare opportunities. I mean, Taylor's one of the few people that can even shoot in places like that, because it's so complicated. You have to build infrastructure, you have to build roads, it's not a simple thing. So this is truly a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it wasn't lost on me.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I love this fish out of water element of the show. Can you recall a time in your life where you were like, I am deeply uncomfortable and feeling really fishy out of water here?
So many times. It's more of my life than not, probably.
Same.
My sister lives, she's not exactly off the grid, but she lives in a cabin in the west coast of Canada. One sister lives in the Yukon, and one sister lives in a place called Haida Gwaii on the west coast of British Columbia. I don't know if you've been there.
Yes.
Stunning, but very wilderness.
Remote, yeah.
And she's lived there for 20 years. And so, when I first went to start going visit, I grew up in cities. I wasn't like a kid that grew up camping and stuff, but she has always been an outdoors person. So anytime I went to go hang out with my sister, we used to go on road trips when I was like 18 or 19, we went on a long road trip, and I was like, well, what hotel are we staying at? She's like, we're not staying at hotels. We sleep next to the car off the side of the freeway. That was my sister, hardcore.
That's
so
amazing.
She's been a person in my life that has always been like, no, you have to chop the wood to make the fire to stay warm, otherwise you're going to freeze to death. That was my sister.
Leave it to a sibling to put you in those fish out of water situations.
Totally.
Absolutely, every single
But those
time.
are the skills that I've always wanted, I've been a city kid, but I didn't want to be, so she's taught me along the way how to be a little bit more self-sufficient.
Love that.
Yeah.
Thanks, sis.
Yeah, seriously.
You are no stranger to being surrounded by women. Congratulations on your most recent
Thank you. Thank you.
delivery.
Yes, very exciting.
And obviously on set, you were surrounded by a lot of women and a lot of estrogen at all times on set.
Totally.
How did that imprint on you, that experience? Being surrounded by so many
for me, it's
powerful
sort of a
women?
continuation of my life. I have 2 sisters, as I mentioned, and so many aunts, and now 3 daughters. That's like an incredible wife. I have a lot of very powerful, amazing women in my life, and I always have. And this has just felt like an extension of that, just adding more people into it. But I feel like I kind of naturally understand how to exist in that.
Yeah.
Pros and cons. There's the ability to, I think, be empathetic and sort of notice feelings and know when to talk and when to keep your mouth shut.
Right.
And then,
Very important part.
Yes,
Right.
it's a very important
Nailed
part,
it.
which I haven't always learned. But yeah, it's a blessing. These are an incredible, incredible, incredible group of women. So talented, so committed to this, and also, so kind and open-hearted and supportive of me, and I couldn't be luckier.
Love.
Yeah, lots of love.
We have one little game for you before we say goodbye.
Cool.
It's called Lasso or Oh No. So we're going to give you a scenario.
Well done.
Thank you so
I
much.
like it.
All the credit to Callie on that
Okay.
one. Eating elk, is that a lasso or an oh no?
Lasso. I had elk for dinner last night.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
We had a couple
not
of
a
different
big
things,
deer.
but we had oysters and elk sliders from Union on Ossington.
Nice, great spot.
Yes.
That's our head.
Yeah.
Going in the outhouse, lasso or oh no?
Lasso.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, lasso. No, not with hornets.
No,
we don't
not
like that.
No, we don't like
that. But no, I have no problem with an outhouse.
Okay.
Yep.
Your sisters
Got
would be
it.
really proud of you right
Yeah.
now. Sibling scraps, fighting with your sibling.
Oh no, I don't want to scrap.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day there was lots, but no,
Yeah.
now no.
Same.
I stay
That
away
was
from
quite
scraps.
the scrap in the show.
Yeah, pretty epic.
Doubling or tripling up layers of socks to make boots fit.
That is very, it's funny you mentioned that because I was watching it the other day and I know that that's not comfortable.
No.
I mean, if you have to and it's the only boot, but I know that's kind of, I don't know if you'd get a blister, but something would happen to your feet if you had 3 rows of
It wouldn't
socks,
feel
right?
great.
And you had to hike a lot.
Yeah.
So, but look, if it's the only way you can fit into the boot,
I
then
guess
maybe you gotta
gotta
do what
be
you
done.
gotta
Do
do.
what you gotta do.
Last one, swimming with your clothes on.
No.
Yeah.
That's a no-no.
That's a no-no.
Yeah.
Get naked.
Yeah.
Skinny dip.
Well, this was delightful.
Thank you so much, Patrick.
We love
Congrats
the
on the
show.
show.
Thank you.
We
So
love it.
fun. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me. Let's do it again soon. I hope.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Enjoy your
Thank
remaining
you.
time
Thank you.
here at home.